Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, folks. Welcome back to Vibe Coding with Will Melton. Excited to be here with you today. 10 o'clock. It's our session for Sunday. We're going to do this every week. I'm going to go for at least an hour today. We might go a little bit longer. My soundtrack has me running for about an hour and 23 minutes. So we've got at least that much music, and we'll start over again. We need to. If you're joining me for the very first time today, I am building 52 apps in 2026. It's my goal. I have more than 10 developed. Not all of them are listed here, but we're going to get them in there. So today I'm going to be doing a couple of different things. So one thing I want to do is advance the roadmap on some of the things that I've been working on. And I'll show you the latest roadmap that I have because I have finally got it rolled out to a lot of the builds that I'm working on. And if you're, again, new to this is Lovable is what I'm building on. So you'll get to see some of the things that I'm actively pursuing progress on today. We will talk about my agent workroom project, which is a way to pressure test ideas with AI agents. This one is, hey, Michael, thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to have you yet again. You're a loyal follower. I appreciate it. So in addition to just kind of advancing the roadmap on these, I'm going to kind of do that in the background as we go. I'm going to work on my CMS, which is a new project that I started last week. I'll talk to you a little bit about that. We've got some business problems to solve here. I've got to think through some things, so you'll get to see some of my real-time thinking. SouChef.ai is also on track to continue to advance the roadmap. So again, we'll do that in the background. Story tracks is something that I might not have talked about in the past, but I'll talk a little bit about this today because we're going to advance this one too. This is also another project that is advancing AI search engine optimization, but it's specific to regions that want to be referenced in AI more often than their competitors. And there's a lot of implications for that for economic development and other PR initiatives for regions. But as I thought about this one, we also figured out that this could be used for associations and different industry groups that have an interest in shaping a narrative. That's what it's all about. And then I'll show you guys a little bit about my chatbot that I'm building. This is designed to be a widget that I can drop on my website, and it actually talks with you. And so we'll do a little bit of testing with this today because last time I tested this, it wasn't working too well. And I'm interested to roll this out. I think as I observe what's happening with AI, we have all these different facets of production that are happening, and whether it's writing content or if it's generating images or generating videos or producing applications, a lot of it is around the interface and about how long does it take for you to type words into a word processor, and how long does it take to write code, how long does it take to edit audio, edit video, all that stuff. When done manually, it can take a lot of time. But we're learning that the tools that AI gives us provide a lot of streamlining, a lot of reduction in friction. And so one of the things that I see happening is voice is one of those input improvements. Obviously we're not going to all be, maybe we all be talking to our phones and our computers as we navigate the future. But personally, I can type pretty fast, but I cannot type as fast as I can talk. So you guys have seen me do some of these verbal commands to Lovable. I use voice memos on my phone religiously to be able to capture ideas and thoughts. I love it because it gives me space to capture and come back to it later. Yesterday, I had an idea for a fiction novel, and I've never had a strong desire to write a fiction novel before, but the idea came to me, seemed pretty compelling, and I started to tease apart the idea with ChatGPT so that I could see if I really wanted to spend more time with it. And because I've been building an application that helps me write books or organize books, I can use that as a vehicle to get it off the ground. And so I am finding that AI is unlocking my creativity in major ways. I say to people, it's taking the shackles off. I feel free. I feel like I can do anything. And I hope that by doing these live vibe coding sessions, I can inspire some of you to take up the mantle and build some things for yourself. So what I did not mention here, and you might have seen it in my cover image, I'm going to be building something for you all today. And I've invited a few people to today's session to see if anybody wanted to seed an idea. I have time. I could build a couple of things, but I think it would be fun to take an idea, a concept, a problem, and work on it with you guys to see if we can make something happen, see if we can build a business, build an application, build a website in the time that we have together. So that's my intro. I'm Will Melton. I am the founder and CEO of Exponent 21. We're a digital marketing agency. We help folks show up in large language models. And for that reason, we do a lot of little things that help us advance the industry, advance the profession, think more deeply about all the things that we do, how we organize information. So this CMS is a way to change how we think about content. Historically, in content land, we've been thinking about pages and articles and bios and FAQs and location pages and all these different entities that help us communicate with the outside world. But from a structural perspective, it doesn't necessarily convey information in the most useful way or in the way that AI is most apt to learn and comprehend. And so what I'm building, this is motivated by a few things. One, WordPress is what I've been building in for about a decade now. It's been a great ride. But I think that unless WordPress changes in a major way, we're going to see the end of days for WordPress because these new builders are speeding up our workflows and getting us to final product faster. But there are still challenges because as a builder of websites that need to also be managed by people, we do need to think about what that future looks like. And personally, I've found that populating posts and pages and FAQs and location pages and all the rest on WordPress is a very manual thing where I can populate content and build things incredibly fast in something like Lovable, any other vibe coded platform. And so the challenge is this. If I want to build a fully functional website that is fully optimized for the future, we need a content management system. If we're selling goods, maybe we also need to have some commerce functionality. And so as I've thought about the transition away from WordPress, I've thought about, well, what commerce systems are going to power our future? And there's a couple of things here. One, we have seen that Shopify embeds additional metadata into their images, and their products are incredibly rich in data. I don't know exactly how that schema is structured. I haven't done all that I need to do to learn that, but what I've found is that we can plug into our connectors, and some of those connectors, one of those connectors includes Shopify. So I started thinking about some client issues that I have, some clients that have some serious needs in the AI search engine optimization land that I'm not fully comfortable that we're going to get as good as we have with things like WordPress and Rank Math, which is my SEO plugin for WordPress. And so the shopping part's figured out, but the CMS is not. And so this CMS is designed for us to think about the future of content in a way that allows it to be more helpful and a bit more optimized in the ways that people discover and the way that AI discovers. And so instead of producing articles and pages and FAQs and location pages, we're creating these different types of contents, entities. So what are the brands, the products, the people, the locations, the concepts? Those things are not necessarily going to get a page, so to speak, but they're going to get an entry. They're going to get information appended to these things, because these entities are what AI picks up on and what search engines pick up on. And you can think about that like schema markup if you're familiar with that. And then questions, FAQs, same thing, but really thought of in the simple way of how we think about this. It's a question, it's an answer, it's a use case, it's a process, it's proof, it's media. And so we're going to build this. And what it's going to do for me is it's going to allow me to say, I'm going to put a case study in there, for instance. Well, the case study has a lot of different details. It has brands, it has products, it has people, it has locations, it has concepts, it has questions, answers, use cases, it has a process, and it has media. And so we're going to be able to attach metadata to each of these entities, to each of these content types, so that we can relate them together, we can associate them with one another, and we can build richer pages and richer content experiences that are really centered around very particular needs that customers have, that visitors have. And I don't know exactly how this is going to work, to be frank with you. I've been thinking about this and trying to imagine how we stitch it all together. And so what I'm going to do here in a minute is I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to find what my actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I want to do something different here. Let's build a documentation so that I can read a little bit about what we've already built and maybe start to get some ideas. I want to build a documentation page for this application, making sure that we cover all the subject areas of the application. Let's talk a little bit about how it works, why it was designed, how we will populate content in the various entities and questions, answers, etc. But then how do we bring that content to the surface? How do we actually make it visible in the user experience and stitch those things together in a rich and meaningful way? I want to make sure that the documentation isn't just technical, but it's an opportunity to educate users about how this works and why it matters in the era of AI visibility. So if you're joining me for the first time, I am using the voice to text feature that Lovable offers us. Most of the AI tools now offer this. I've enjoyed that so much that I've started to work it into my roadmaps. So if I were to look at this guy, let me see if I have it here. I don't. Oh, I have it on the description. So I have a little microphone button that I'll put in these items so that I can speak to them instead of having to type out to speed things up. And Lovable has updated quite a bit over the last couple of months. I would say that they're now saying that it solves problems 71% better than it used to, and it can solve more complex problems and produce more code with less error. I've personally found that I can move much faster through these builds, and some of that has to do with the workflow that I'm deploying. Some of it has to do with just the confidence that I have in it, so I'm not kind of tinkering and tweaking as much as I am just letting it code. So what I'm also going to do here is, in addition to creating some documentation, I'm going to also prompt it to build up a product roadmap for this so that we know what we need to build to get to the finish line. I'll delete this test task and we'll just go ahead and give it that instruction. So I need to identify all of the tasks that we need to complete in order to finish this content management system. I don't know that we have all of the different things wired up. Like I have no way to select a workspace right now, so I can't actually see these sections in the admin dashboard. I'm not not sure where we are with the development of things. Okay, I see how we can create a workspace, but we're getting an error on that. Ultimately, in order for this content management system to serve users in the future and be a business that can sell subscriptions to people, and ultimately be a superior content management system in the era of AI tool that will help both users and large language models better understand content and to be able to provide better coverage of topics for the industry, for the business, for the brand. And then also stitching all of this together into a front-end view that can serve up that content, thinking about how we can do all those things and the appropriate way to do all those things, understanding that this CMS is going to be something that I create an API for and port into other Lovable builds. And not just Lovable, but other website interfaces. This should be a universal content management system that can work with anything. With that in mind, we need to populate the roadmap and identify the development tasks and perhaps some of the marketing tasks that we need to accomplish on the front end of the website to be successful. Please go ahead and populate the roadmap, assigning statuses to them and priority, providing details, and indicating where we need to define additional details so that we can come back and answer those questions. Document first, we'll come back and work later. That was a pretty long prompt, as you heard. Didn't need to be that beleaguered, but I do find that the more information you share, the better. These systems are designed to think about the business case, if you instruct it to, if you share with it what it is that you're trying to make. And it does a much better job at building what you want if it has that context. So share more, it's always better. Broad concepts, high-level thinking always helps to give it the total coverage that you need in order to cover all the bases. It'll often throw out ideas that you might not have thought of, which is one of the things that I love most about AI. So I'm going to, while I wait for this to happen, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hit enter to queue that up. So if you're not familiar with that, you can just type what you want when Lovable's building something else and tee up a queue. Now, I use product roadmaps because it helps me think longer term. And I have now gone as far as to automate just about every aspect of this. And I'll tell you a little bit about what this does so that you know. I'll have to update the work plan for this. I do have the work plan for this, and it is in one of my earlier sessions. I do have a short instructional video on this, but it didn't include some of these new features. So the clarity scan, what this is designed to do is to look at all the roadmap items and determine if all the information is there to be able to execute on that task. If it doesn't have all the information, it'll tell you, it'll give you a prompt that you can scan, copy and paste into Lovable, and it begins to ask you the questions that fill the gaps. Once you give it the answers, it appends those answers to the roadmap items so that they can be executed on. Auto assemble is our sprint assembly mechanism, and what this does is it uses AI to review the roadmap, look at the priority statuses and the contents, and determine which roadmap items can be worked on next and in the most logical fashion. Dependencies considered, etc. And it'll generally put together a 5 or 6 task sprint. It'll give me a button that I can click to copy that prompt, and I paste that into Lovable and let it go. And what it does is it has instructions between the tasks baked in that say, okay, you're done with this, go ahead and move it to in review in our roadmap statuses so that it can be checked by a human and advance to the next task. And I have found that that is incredibly effective at keeping us on track. So right now, while we're working to build the docs so that we can get a better understanding of how this is supposed to work, and the next queued up task takes place so that we have our Can't even remember what this is now. Moving too fast here. In any event, once it's done, we'll be able to actually advance the roadmap, backfill. And we'll write out some of these other roadmaps. So let me just show you guys how this works. So we'll do the clarity scan. And while I wait for that to happen, I grab my music from Envato Elements. There's an annual subscription that gives you unlimited access to all kinds of digital assets. This is not an ad, but it is a way that I save a lot of time and keep these sessions interesting. I get lots of different assets from there, but lately a lot of it's just been some background music. Today we're listening to some space sounds, some astral tracks. I tend to like to keep it mellow. A little bit of energy here and there is good. All right, so what just happened? I asked for the clarity scan and it did nothing. So I'm going to talk to this. I just prompted the clarity scan and I got a toast notification indicating that it completed, but I did not get a prompt to copy and paste into the Lovable chat window so that we can ask questions, provide answers, and append those answers to the tasks themselves. Something wasn't completed with our roadmap on this project. One of the things that I have been noticing as I have deployed this roadmap that I built in another space is that prompting another application to build it, given the SDK that I have, has been inconsistent at best. I've not had two roadmaps that look the same, but I have made some improvements to it so that it's getting better, and we're moving a little bit closer on all of these roadmaps. I do have some of these roadmaps tied into my studio site, so you can actually keep track of not necessarily what we've finished, but what we have coming up in the roadmap itself. So if you were to go into this and take a look at full details, you can see here we have the roadmap. And what I've done is I have defined these roadmap items as either public or not public. And when I make them publicly visible, then they will show up over here. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page and we'll see how quickly that happened. I can't remember which test that was. Output action pipeline. Made it. There it is. So, cool stuff. These are two different apps, two different Lovable builds, two different domains. They're tied together with an API. So while we wait for that to figure out what's going on, it happened. We'll let it analyze again. I'm going to go ahead and go into this one, and we will get into the roadmap here and see what we have. So I don't have a clarity scanner on this one, but I will let this auto-assemble and I'll advance it anyway. It is also determining when it does this auto-assembly if there's enough information on the tasks. So there's some element of that that's happening here. But now that I've copied that prompt to the clipboard, I'll just paste it in here and let it go. But it's telling it, okay, complete all 5 tasks sequentially. After completing this task, move them to end review. Do not stop until all tasks are complete. It's giving double instructions here. I think it will also, after completing this task, move to end review. It's giving individual instructions each time, and then telling it to proceed to the next task. So that is, sort of our form of automation here. I do understand that that Lovable has an API that they're expanding on, and I'm excited about that. I'm hopeful that we can leverage that expanded API to actually connect my roadmap features to the Lovable interface so that we can actually put coding on autopilot. It's an ambitious kind of trajectory that I have, but I think we're super close to it right now. And if we don't get there soon, I would be pretty surprised. Now, I'm going to go ahead and copy this to Lovable Chat. We'll paste it in there, and let's see what it says. Questions for discussion. It's going to ask 3 questions, I believe. It says that 0 are ready, 0 need work, and 10 are not ready. So we're pretty far behind on all these tasks, but we'll let it think about those things and ask me some questions. We'll come back to this in just a minute. So that's going to take some time. This one has finished its work, but I don't have a link to the documentation. I need a link to the documentation under the management tab in the admin dashboard. So I'm going to take a look at these and see what it says. Okay, let's just take a look at that sprint to see what they put in the roadmap to know where we're at. Let me read this. This is cool. This is a lot. Sometimes I find myself looking at this and I'm just like, okay, now I know I worked for so long. There's a lot of stuff here. So I'm gonna not read all this right now. I'm gonna go ahead and actually start to work on the roadmap because obviously we have some progress that we need to make. I'm just gonna show you guys here. I had to top up on credits because I probably burned through about 1,000 credits just getting the roadmaps deployed to all of my projects, but that's going to speed me up into the future. It's probably going to cause me to use more credits in the future too, but I think my rollover tier period is the 4th of February, so I've got, I think, enough to get me through that period, and then those will roll over again too. But let me just go to the dashboard and grab my roadmap. Oh, auto assemble failed. So let's get that fixed. I don't bother typing properly anymore. I have AI understands what I'm trying to say, so I don't bother. It's just time suck to fix it. I try to still type well. I put my hands down on the keys and I find that they're not in the right place because I haven't been typing as much. And so I mentioned to you guys, I'm going to sit here and just click through and advance these roadmaps. This one does not appear to have the latest SDK deployed, so I'm going to go over and get that. All right, so we'll see how well this one does. I'm going to copy the SDK there. We'll come in here to, where was I at? This one. I need to deploy the latest roadmap from the SDK. Please ensure that you're incorporating all of the features from the card features to the edit features to the clarity scan, the auto assembly of the roadmap, the copying of prompts, the automation aspects. Here's the SDK instructions. trying to minimize another crappy rollout of my roadmap. So yeah, my text was too long. So what did I click? Let's see. We'll see. Okay, we'll let that go. I'll come over here and show you guys this one because I think this one's kind of fun, but it has some problems. I also don't think I have a roadmap in this one at all. It doesn't have anything but settings. This is like the simplest app that I've built this year because my intention here was to play with the integration with 11 Labs, which is a voice generation, sound generation system. And so I'll show you all the things that we've built into this. So this is something I'm going to deploy on my main website, which is still a WordPress website. And this is the script that I'll copy to get that widget installed. And I can restrict domains so that it doesn't get used or abused. I had this idea. I don't know why I've been kind of playing with music lately in my mind, but in the space between conversations, I thought it would be cool to kind of have some like on hold music. And at one point I had 11 Labs generating that, but it was costing me a lot of credits. So I rolled that back and just pulled some ambient music from Envato Elements for that. The voice settings, this is coming from 11 Labs. So this is the 11 Labs API. It's allowing us to choose which voices we want to use, as well as the controls that they provide in their interface. And then we do offer inside of this the ability to clone voices.
Hello, I'm your Exponent to One assistant. How can I help you today?
So I clone my voice. It doesn't really sound like me, in my opinion, but it's okay. Just for fun, I think that these features are cool to integrate. And then let's see. The knowledge base. So the agent needs to know how to operate. So what instructions do we give it? What this is interesting because there's actually a bunch of roadmap items in here that don't belong, but that's okay. Thinking to myself, I must have prompted it to do something on the roadmap, and we didn't actually have a roadmap when we told it to do that, so it just put it into the knowledge base, which is fine. We can fix that later. I'm just going to play with this. Let's give this a shot. Earlier, we added roadmap entries into the knowledge base, and that was a mistake. Those roadmap items were intended to be added to a separate roadmap that we don't have. That's okay. What I want you to do is take a look at the roadmap entries in the knowledge base and go ahead and assemble a development sprint that executes on those tasks so that we can get that incorporated and make sure that all that's working as expected. So we'll get that fixed. Also, the recommended actions here, this gives me the opportunity to control how I get AI to send people to different places based on certain words that they use in their dialogue with the chatbot. So that's kind of a cool feature. And obviously, this will take us some time to build up so that it's truly a conversational assistant that feels natural. But while we're doing that, I will just go in here and we'll just give this guy a test out. Turn my music down just a little bit. All right.
Hi there, I'm your Exponent 21 assistant. What brings you here today?
I'm trying to find out what you guys do. Okay, so this is the first user experience issue that I have here is that it is not ready to listen right away. But it asks, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a little prompt. Right now, the voice assistant asks, "How can I help you today?" And it seems like I'm able to just respond, but I still have to tap to speak. So I want the voice agent to actually say, tap the button to begin speaking. some kind of instruction to cue that user that they actually have to touch the button to be able to activate the microphone. I want to learn more about what you guys do.
We wear content strategy. We help brands build the foundations to be understood by search.
So one of the things that I've been noticing about this chatbot is that it has, in the very beginning, when it first starts talking, it is not paying
iVoice
attention.
Assistant's performance. Would you like to learn more about the roadmap for these improvements, or would you prefer to speak with a member of our team?
So the issue that I have is when it first starts talking, it's kind of jumbled, and
Please
here
tell
it
me
is. It
more about the issue
starts
you're
listening
facing.
automatically again instead of. So it's like just starting over and over and over and over again. So this is like, I'm not going to be able to work with this.
This means we help brands earn trust.
It seems like the initial outputs from the chatbot are nonsensical for some reason. And after I stop the bot from talking to me, it automatically restarts against my will every single time and starts talking to me randomly again. We need to inspect the logic and instructions to make sure that the user's demands are honored. That's the most important thing, is that if the user doesn't want to hear the chatbot anymore, that it can stop the chatbot and prevent it from interfering or interrupting again. Okay, my ADD is shining through here because I realized that I had a sprint that we had prompted up here that I did not advance because I found that problem and started working on that. So I will come back to the actual sprint that I have. It's very likely that some of those items actually already addressed the problem that I just prompted it with. And so I'm just going to say, let's advance the sprint if you haven't addressed these items already. Yeah, there's a couple things in there that are probably overlapping, but I'm just going to let that go and we'll come back over here. So today I'm going to build something for you guys. If you are listening and you haven't said hi in the comments, say hi in the comments so that I know you're there. And if you have an idea for something that I can help you with today, I'll build it for you. If you're joining us for the first time, this is Vibe Coding with Will Melton. I'm Will Melton, and I built about 15 apps in 2025, some small, some full-featured. We've launched some fully functional products that are actually generating revenue. And I set a challenge this year to build 52 apps, one app for every week of the year. You can join me over at studio.willmelton.com to learn more about this challenge. You can follow along on the various projects that I'm building. You can see my sprint roadmaps for each of these projects if I've got it turned on. Some of them I don't yet. And you can actually watch us build these things in real time. We'll continue to add value to each of these applications. Some of them we will auction off or sell or generate some investment on so that we can advance those within our own walls. And we'll make some stuff for you guys along the way so that we can kind of show you how to go from idea to full featured product. I'm going to go today a little bit longer than an hour. I might go as much as 2 hours, see how hungry I get. And we'll have enough time to build something pretty robust, I'd like to say. So follow me over here on Will Melton, studio.willmelton.com. And what I'd encourage you to do is fill out this subscribe form and put in your email address. And what is going to happen is you'll get a referral link that you can share any of these applications with other people, and you can get a finder's fee or an introductory fee if I do a deal, or if I get an investment. So thank you all for joining me here. I see some thumbs up on my LinkedIn Live. If you're hanging out with me today, give me an idea. Tell me something that you're working on. Give me a problem that you've got. Let's solve something together. And while I'm at it, I'll show you another little project that I'm working on. So, as a marketer, I like to market. I don't like to sell. I want people to come to me and learn what we're up to and say, I want to do that. And so, one of the things that I put together yesterday is a referral program, not too dissimilar to my studio site, but for Exponent 21. I don't believe this is published yet, so you're not going to be able to get to this, but we're going to turn this on here pretty soon. But I thought, you know what? I've got some folks who are sending people our way to get their sites to rank in AI, and I figured why not reward them for those referrals. So I've created a referral program here, and this is how it works. You will get an entry for everybody you refer to us. We'll also give you a bonus referral, a bonus entry for your very first referral. So all you have to do is click the join button. We'll wire this up today so that you can actually get to it. If they book a call, you get another entry. And if they become a client, you get another entry on top of that. There's no limit to how many entries you can get in this sweepstakes. But the grand prize is going to be a luxury getaway to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. So this is actually a resort that I stayed at. Let's see if it says it in here. El Dorado Seaside Suites. This is an adults only, absolutely beautiful resort. Tons of fun, huge property, and this is a scene from one of the entry roadway there. Anyway, this program is going to turn on so that you can send folks our way and maybe get something out of it. All right, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. I want to add a custom domain, but you need to publish first. So we're just going to say X21 referred. I probably didn't spell that right, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to, on another screen over here, get a browser window open so that I can get into my AWS. So I can get my domain wired up here. There is an automatic deployment function in here, but AWS has a few login hoops to jump through, so I just do this manually, but I'll show you. Connect domain. We will say this. I'll call this friends.exponent21.com. One thing I learned yesterday, if you are using a domain proxy, like Cloudflare or something like that, you do need to check that box. If you switch to a proxy domain at some point, you'll need to delete the domain from your app, add it back, checking that box, because there's no setting to toggle that on after the domain is already connected. Learned that the hard way yesterday after a little bit of downtime on a project. I'm going to go the manual step here, and I'll go ahead and start to populate that over on the domain DNSN that I've got set up over here. So if you're not familiar with DNS records, what we're doing right now is we are configuring my domain to send traffic to the right place. When somebody types in friends.exponent21.com, they will be taken to my Lovable app where they can see the referral program and participate. So this takes just a few minutes. It says it could take a couple of hours. It doesn't ever take that long. It's going to go through this verification process, and we'll be able to publish this live once that's done. So I'll wait for that. Right now, I want to see what we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and test this guy out. If you're not familiar with this, if you're using a Gmail account, you can use test emails like this. I'm going to actually say refer. Know which one it is. And we've got some official rules over there. That link doesn't work, so we'll fix that. The official rules link on the Join Now page takes people away to the main homepage, not to the actual proper official rules. Since this is on the authorization sign-up screen, I want to make it so that it's a pop-up, not taking people to another page. Okay. When I click Create an Account button, nothing happens. So there's probably some things that are missing from this that I'm going to have to incorporate in order for it to work as expected. I kind of was focused on the marketing side of this before, not the back-end side. So I might have to do a little bit of work to get this going, but we'll be able to finish that up here during this session. If you're joining me for the first time, this is Vibe Coding with Will Melton. I am live right now on YouTube. I'm live on LinkedIn Live and Twitch. So you can follow me on all three of those places so that you can stay up to date on what I'm building. You can get in the mix by joining our referral program, and you can see about all these different ideas and what motivated them. On Monday, tomorrow, 5:30, I'll be doing a show and tell session. Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, I do show and tell. I'm going to be showing off Bank Wealth, which is brainchild of mine that I've been thinking about for probably over a year now, and was finally able to build it last year. And it needs some advancement, but it really needs investment because this is likely to be a billion-dollar business. Competing businesses in this category are generating as much. I think we have a better business model here, so you'll get to learn a little bit more about that. I will be honest, these businesses are going to be too much to manage. So they either need to live inside of Exponent 21 and be a tool for its purposes, and I can show you all the ones that do that. The CMS is one, Discover AIO is one, Carl is one, StoryTracks is another, Westbroad Studios is another. And then my fun chatbot isn't in here yet, but that will also be one that we'll add in there that is an Exponent 21 tool or product or brand that we can leverage for our business purposes. I'll show you some other things too. Some of these micro apps or landing pages that I'm starting to wire up. We do work in a lot of different industries, and so for that reason, we don't often talk about the industries that we do work for. But unfortunately, that prevents us from connecting with people in those industries because they don't really care about digital marketing unless it's for them. And so you can take a look at pools.exponent21.com for a landing page for the swimming pool industry. You can see some educational content on here from our team. You can learn a little bit about the opportunity and the challenge that we face today with AI. And you have a couple of pathways that you can take on these, where you can either do our done for you AI SEO, where we handle it all for you, or you can go take our course, and we've got a little discount on this right now. So if you're interested in learning how to optimize your website for AI, that's where you can do that. Same thing over at golf.exponent21.com. We have some enthusiastic members of the team who just love golf, and this is absolutely an industry where people are taking to AI to ask questions about their golf game, about products that they're going to buy. And so we wanted to create a little place for those folks. And when we go and share these out to social media, the default image that gets attached to this will be one that is a promotional message. So if I share this right now, you'll see a little preview window that comes up that talks about your best kept growth secret. It's a little bit cut off on LinkedIn, but other socials will bring it up. If I send a text message to somebody, that whole promotional card will show up, and that is the point. We want to reach out to folks through LinkedIn Messenger, through text message, through other social channels, so that we can share that with them and let them know that we have a place where they can land and speak directly to their interests. They can get a free SEO audit there on the site as well. All right, so let's take a look at the join now. Let's see if we were able to fix that. Let's see. Let's refer. Actually, I don't even have a login to this site yet, so I don't need to do a test email. Just use a regular email account. Account created. Backend integration coming soon. Okay, so we don't have what we need yet. So let's go ahead and advance things. Please put together a sprint that advances our backend roadmap, our backend dashboard for users and managers. I want to turn on this referral program today, and so go ahead and produce a list of tasks that need to be completed and start working on those. Normally I would build a roadmap into these, but I'm not doing that because these are such kind of micro applications that aren't going to do a whole lot. Very, very specific, narrow use. But I'm curious what you guys think about this. Like I said, I'm always working smarter, not harder, trying to find ways to bring people into my orbit. I don't really need a cloud enabled, but we'll let it do its thing. Sorry. So what I was saying is I'm never sure how these things are going to work out. I think one of the things that we have to do is to test things and find out whether or not they provide real value for people. Perhaps a chance to win a trip to Mexico isn't a compelling enough carrot for people to actually do this. And so I'm curious, what do you think? Would you give me a referral for a chance to win a trip to Mexico? Only one person ever does it. They're the ones who get that trip. So let me know if you think that's compelling enough. Maybe I need to be doling out some cash to people too for these referrals. Maybe you say, hey, that's not enough. Maybe we give away a couple of these instead of just one. All right, I am going to bounce around here and take a look at what I've got going. So I have some fixes on this. We'll check on that in just a minute. This roadmap appears to have been updated, so we will just check on that now and see if we can't advance sous chef a little bit. See, they're all a little bit different. Put it. All right, so we don't have an auto-assemble sprint queue. We don't have an auto-assemble sprint queue and a button. And I also believe that we didn't follow the wireframes that were provided in the SDK because the sprint queue is supposed to be on the right-hand side, not on the top. Okay, let's see. I'm still getting the exact same error as before. Explain to me why I'm getting the error. Is it the same as the last error? Did you not push the edge functions? What happened? Go ahead and fix it too. Sometimes it's going to fix things without actually telling us what was wrong. In this case, because we had 2 attempts to fix it, or 1 attempt to fix it, and it didn't work. I want to know why it didn't work the second time with the exact same error message. One of the things that happens with these React applications is these toast notifications will come in to indicate that there is an edge function, but until you improve the error handling and actually work into your application code that indicates what the error was, you're not going to actually have that clarity. So it'll have to take a look at the error logs to determine what the problem was. And so one thing you can do early in your project is to indicate that you want toast notifications to be rich with information, and constantly work throughout the build to ensure that the notifications that come in there have substance, and you can be more responsive to those problems in your remedies. Okay, I'm going to go to the microwave in the next room and nuke my coffee here. If you're hanging out with me today, I'm looking for something to build. So share in the comments what ideas you have, and we'll build something. Make something fun, make something quirky. I want to build a game, so maybe if nobody gives me any ideas, I'll start tinkering with some kind of game. I've done 1 game for a client that we are in the final testing phases of. And I'll keep talking with you guys as I go warm up my coffee, but I'll be off camera. And it's a fun game. It's designed to immerse a captive audience in a brand and its products. And it ties in with a larger marketing campaign that we have, high-level brand positioning campaign that so far is yielding record sales for this client. I'm sure they've done other things to reach that milestone, but they are enjoying success with it, and we hope to take it even further with the game that we've developed. Now, that game is probably the minimum level of gamification that you can get while also making it a marketing game. And so the game that perhaps we can build today can be a little bit more fun and a little less business tool. But share your ideas in the comments. I'm happy to build something for you. If you have an idea, maybe not a game, maybe you have a problem at home, you want a solution for that, or maybe you have a work problem that you're trying to find a solution for. That's how my ideas start. They're always, what's the problem that I'm facing, and how do I overcome that problem? How do I advance through it? And so while we are hanging out here, and let me just take a look at what I've got going on. I'll just let the roadmap there get assembled on that one so that we can keep things going in the background before I get started on a new thing. Let's see, organization onboarding, brand kit, citation, source attribution, email, application delivery, blog section, enhancement. Okay.
It's 11 o'clock.
So I have 17 items in review. So that means we're making pretty good progress on a 36 tasks roadmap. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and open my sprint up. And I notice here that Well, let's just auto assemble the sprint and see if it replaces these, which it should. Let me just take a look. Onboarding flow, okay. Seat-based billing. Okay, I guess those things do need to be done. Now I have a 10 task sprint, so I'm going to knock a couple of these things off of here. We'll just stick with the 8 high priority items. Execute sprint, and we'll paste that and let it go. So if you're not familiar, if you weren't following along, StoryTracks is actually kind of an interesting application that allows localities to coordinate their messaging in order to show up and higher visibility from a competitive standpoint in large language models. So say, for instance, a business is looking for a site to locate their next headquarters. You know, they are going to go to ChatGPT and ask, what are cities that meet XYZ criteria? Well, if we do a good job at disseminating information from a region, then we can actually influence whether regions show up in large language models for those prompts. So the way that this works is we push out let me see if I can sign in and show you what it looks like. But essentially what we do is we build a network. We create organizations that are inside of the network. We have a brand kit that we can implement that is for the network, or you can, each organization also gets its brand kit. And then you have your content. And so what happens here, and the way that this is designed to work, is I can make these articles. I don't think I have the ability to click on some of these things, so we're not there yet. But what's going to happen is I'll be able to distribute this to all of the stakeholders in the ecosystem. But what it's going to do is not going to just send the article that I'm publishing on my website. It's going to send a modified article that has all the same facts, all the same key details, so that we can make sure that those things are baked in. But it's going to send to the other participants in the network a email with a draft of the finished article for them, for their stakeholders, for their audience, and the implications for those stakeholders, for those constituents. And what that allows us to do is, this is I can't count this right now, but it's over 30 different organizations. What we end up with is perhaps one important story that makes its way onto 10 or 15 or 20 different organization websites. And that's going to develop a content ecosystem that creates space for truth and creates trust in that information on behalf of AI systems. So it's really a faster way to get information out in a way that we can almost guarantee what it is that AI is going to say back to someone when they ask a question that's related to that piece of information. So this is sort of a nuanced tool to help sort of a specific type of organization do what we do. We're always looking for those unique micro strategies that are going to help us to drive things home. Okay. These instructions are wrong because it's not putting them to in review. I want to update the execute sprint prompt to give the instruction to move completed tasks to in review so they can be checked by a human, not moved to done. I will find a way to deploy these roadmaps consistently across projects. What I might do is build a base, or maybe even use the roadmap application that I have and remix that, which is something that you can do. remix this project, basically create a copy of it and modify it, make it different, change it. Didn't mean to do that. So you'll notice that you can close out of Lovable whenever you're not, whenever it's working, and it's just going to keep working in the background. So you don't actually have to keep these windows open. You can refresh anytime you want to. Anything that you've typed into the chat window there actually stays in the chat window, so you're not losing stuff whenever those refreshes happen, which is kind of cool. Okay, sprint queue, auto assemble. That was a really fast auto assembly. Get out of here. Can't see what's behind that. It's going to ask me some questions. It's doing some of what the clarity scan is doing on this one. So they, again, these roadmaps are all operating just a little bit differently because they're not sharing the exact same code. And part of the reason for that is that I had an existing roadmap in some of these projects, and it just had a different set of features that I needed to update and improve as opposed to install new, because I already had roadmap items in there. I'm going to use sensible defaults here so that I don't actually have to answer all those questions. I can always come back and change it, but here's the thing. I'm not a chef. I don't have a personal chef. I don't know exactly how this business is going to work. I mean, I know that it's going to do everything from recipe planning to dietary needs, shopping lists, shopping, meal prep, cooking at various flexible levels. But I'm going to need a proprietor. So what I was kind of sharing earlier is some of these businesses I'm not going to be able to run because I don't have the time, especially if I'm going to build an app every week. And so I intend to sell some of these off. I intend to generate some investment on some of these so that I can actually staff them and build them up. But I'm looking for proprietors for some of these businesses, and I usually have somebody in mind. I usually think about somebody I know who would be a good either buyer of the product or user of the product so that I can shape it in a light that would be beneficial to them. If you're joining me for the first time, this is live coding with Will Melton. Vibe coding live with Will Melton. Yeah, I'll figure it out one of these days. I'm working to build 52 apps this year, so follow along on my journey. Give me some ideas so that we can build some cool stuff together. I might have an issue with my stream here, so I disappeared right then. Apologize. I'm going to go over here to ChatGPT because I want to build a game today. Is there anything outstanding that we haven't finished? All right, I'm gonna turn my music down just a little bit so I can have a little bit of quiet to think. Here's what we're gonna do. I want to build a game in Lovable that is fun, easy to play, visually attractive, and exciting and rewarding, and maybe even a little educational. I think what we want to do is teach people about artificial intelligence. We want to teach them about the different modes and tools that could exist, from chatbots to conversational LLMs to generative engines that create images and videos and code and agents, and how we connect all these things together through APIs. And there are different models that do different things. I think we can make it fun and educational, and maybe, just maybe, this can serve as a foundation for another game that I want to build. The other game, for context, is I want to teach people about the various elements of AI search engine optimization. It's a complicated topic with a lot of facets, and I have over 150 articles on the topic. I've got a 6-hour course written, produced, that we can serve as a foundation to help people learn. But it has to be fun, easy to interact with, not boring, overwhelming. And I don't know enough about game dynamics to know what we need to be building into this to make it fun and exciting. So I want to have you come up with a work plan that follows traditional game theory. And if I didn't mention it already, we're going to build this in Lovable. So let me know what questions you have, if any. But otherwise, let's just make a work plan. So I don't know a lot of things, but that doesn't mean I can't advance the ball. I have to learn something to do that. And so the first thing to do is to start someplace, start with an idea, and then move into what do we not know. I could have asked it to tell me what are the game dynamics that I need to be concerned with, but I gave it the context that I need. So it's going to do two things. It's going to give me the game dynamics, and it's going to think a little bit about the game that we're going to play, or that we're going to build, to be able to meet the objectives of both game dynamics and the educational initiative that we have. I'm just going to start talking to this. I do like the scenario-based strategy plus light progression. I think the plan's pretty good. I do want to make sure that users are able to interact with this, to give inputs, to model the kind of behavior that we want to teach. And we'll make this an AI-ready RVA tool that we can make available inside of the member dashboard. That's not something that you need to be concerned with, but from a branding perspective, we do want to use AI Ready RVA's logo, and we'll use their website design as the foundation for what we're building. Now, talk about this a little bit. There's always decisions to be made about where you put these things. I could build this into AI Ready RVA's website directly, but it's got a very different function than the website for AI Ready RVA. So I don't think I'm going to actually build it in that way. And here's an example. We have thing called Agent Factory that we built. That's a very specific utility. It lives outside of the main dashboard, the main website, just because it kind of can be a little helpful to build these things in isolation, because then you're not having to worry about the integration with the other application. So what I'll probably do here is build this guy and then move it over to AI Ready RVA's account once I've used my credits to build it. Super easy to do that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this original prompt, and I'm going to switch back over to the right account here, and I'm just going to paste my original prompt for full context. You might have seen me do this before, so this isn't the first time I've done this. I want to then skip over this output because it has some information in it, but I'm going to get my second follow-up prompt there, and then I'll get the final plan that it has put together for me. And then I'm not going to dictate how this game works. I just want to build it, so I'll let it make a decision. I'm also going to go ahead and attach a screenshot of the AI Ready RVA website and the logo so that it has those details from the start. It can be helpful to give as much context as possible, and that includes visual context, information about this isn't going to work the way I want it to, because all those lazy loading functions that happen here, but it's okay. We'll do it again. Who knows? Maybe it did work. Nope, it did not. Okay. Just need to make sure that everything loads and then do it one more time. All right, so I go live 3 times a week. I missed yesterday because AI Ready RVA had a board meeting that conflicted with my vibe coding session, so that was the exception to the rule. But Saturdays I go live at 1 p.m. On Sundays I go live at 10 a.m. and Monday evening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I go live then. Mondays are show and tell day. So it is on those days that I show off a little bit more of the applications that I'm building so that you can actually see a little bit more of the detail level backends of these different builds. I just have to do a quick file conversion here on this guy so that I can actually upload it. So I am just starting to build this game so we can teach people about AI. I'm fascinated with AI. It's been a huge catalyst for me in my life and my business. I feel empowered. As you can see, I'm setting an ambitious goal for myself this year to build 52 applications, and I will exceed that goal without a doubt. But I like helping other folks. So AI Ready RVA was founded as a nonprofit to fill the gap, the AI literacy gap that we have. We want to bring people along, and we have a lot of different ways that we make that happen. We have lots of events. One event a week last year. We'll have maybe twice that many this year, I suspect. And we have our cohorts. And so our cohorts are industry or interest aligned groups where you can come and find like minded people who are learning about AI in their industry or in a particular parallel track that other folks are interested in. And so we've had some really great sessions, and we'll continue to have once a quarter, each of these cohorts has a meeting. And we've got a lot of positive feedback. You can also start a cohort. So if you don't see something here that you think uh, we should have, there's a lot of different industries that are not yet represented here. So definitely fill out the form to start your own. AI Ready RVA is located in Richmond, Virginia. We are leading the charge for AI literacy, and we are one of the largest communities in the nation. If you count our social followers as one of the measures, we have a growing member base, and see a little bit about who our corporate members are here, founding funders and corporate members. So we're inviting folks to the table. So come and join us. Come be a subscriber member as if you're an individual, or if you represent a business. We have a number of different options there. We have nonprofit options. We have this exciting community challenge coming up here later this year that you can learn about. You can learn about our innovation center, which we are in the throes of fundraising for, and we have a pretty robust plan established already. And we will continue to keep you informed about all of this as we advance. But right now, we're building a game. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them in the chat. I'm keeping an eye out for you guys. I like teaching. Been doing it for just about my entire business career. Started teaching classes on how to work on computers, how to use Excel or Word, or how to make sure that you stay virus free. I used to own an IT company, so that was how I started out. And then I started teaching digital marketing courses at a classroom in our facility, so it was kind of a natural segue. And that was just before I started my first agency. And I've now started 2 digital marketing agencies. I've leveraged technology to be able to play in the digital world, to be able to make things happen for others in the digital world. And thinking back to my high school days, I went to college for a semester, but my high school days, I did a bunch of marketing related electives. So I was in yearbook and newspaper and photography and e-commerce and advanced writing and all the things that all lead me down the path of marketing. And I did not know it then that I would come to want to be a marketer, but it became apparent later on. Okay, so little quirks here. My letters are cut off. Not a fan of that, but let's just see what happens when we start learning. So I'm just trying to play this game a little bit to see what my just kind of what my options are, and I feel like this is lacking the excitement that I would like. So I'm gonna try to give this an updated prompt. Just give it some general feedback. So on first load, I noticed that the headline is cut off on the bottom. Small change there. Overall, I think that the design is underwhelming. I think we need to use more color. This is very flat and white. And I want to say that the instructions here are maybe a little bit underwhelming. I'm struggling to understand what I'm supposed to be doing here. I get the sense that the splash page for playing is a little bit more focused on learning and not enough on playing. I feel like the game needs a name. Right now, we're just using the AI Ready RVA logo, but we need to get more creative about what we're building. And then when you actually get into play, so if I click on the helpful chatbot, for instance, I get the sense that I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. So the helpful chatbot prompt is telling me that the chatbot keeps giving vague and helpful answers, and I'm supposed to write a prompt that's specific and actionable. And the problem is there's not enough context here, I don't think. I need to have some kind of scenario other than just customer service. Right now, this feels hard. It doesn't feel fun. And I'm not sure what I'm working toward. I currently feel like I'm working toward learning, and I can see that I have experience points that I'm supposed to gain. But maybe the challenge is in the fact that I'm expected to type something out in this game as opposed to something more simple, like a simpler interface, like a click to advance, click the right option. But again, it needs to be more game-like and less educational. We want people to learn through osmosis, through ease. We want to expose them to ideas. So we'll let that go and see what it comes up with. But you heard me. You heard what I said. I'm going to just let it kind of figure out what's next, and we'll keep playing around with this. I don't have a clear vision for this. Like I said earlier, I don't know how to create games necessarily. I'm not that oriented around games. I do like to play some video games, but not too much, not too many games, not too often. I know that the challenge is a part of it, but the challenges need to feel like something you want to lean into, something you want to try again if you don't make it. So maybe I'll give it that introduction next, or that prompt next. Well, let's see what we get. Let's see what it builds. Normally, I would work separately on the naming and branding of something because I have more clarity about what I want. But in this particular case, I don't have that clarity. And so I'm going to just let it go. Let AI make some decisions for us and see what happens. Oh, so sorry about the music problem. Tell me, Felipe, if that's any better. I can have some other controls that I can fix here if I need to. So I think this feels a little bit more fun, so I do appreciate this. I still think that we could add some more color, and this feels a little bit more like a website than it does a proper game, but that's okay. I think we can see what we got. This is actually a little bit more interesting. And then it's going to redesign the scenario gameplay. So let's see how that plays out. So I'm going to continue on with this build here. Oh, great. Thank you so much for your feedback. Always trying to learn. Let me know if you can hear the background music at all now, because I might have turned it down too much. But in any event, just click through some of the things that I've been working on today. I have been advancing the roadmap on my various projects, and using the product roadmap v2.3 that I've built to be able to do that. And wondering here, nothing generated there. What happened? It says it added 5 items to the sprint, but there's nothing in the sprint. Okay. The auto assemble sprint is saying that it added 5 items to the sprint, but there's nothing in the sprint. Something's wrong. Okay, so I've just been kind of moving through these different builds. Each one has a different function, and actively working to advance them. I have extensive roadmap plans for each of these, and working to just move through each of those things. So let me just see how we're doing on our roadmap over here. It's not clear to me that our sprints are being updated as tasks are completed. Because I'm looking at the sprint now, and I'm seeing all the tasks that we just finished. So there's something that we need to improve with the roadmap to be able to accelerate our development pace. Okay, what I'm trying to be able to do here is to pretty quickly auto-assemble my sprints. The execute sprint button will allow me to copy the prompt that I can paste into Lovable to get all that stuff knocked out there. So that's what I'm working on. Been working on the same thing over here. And I think we have a similar problem. The sprint queue is not getting cleared once the sprints are executed on. We need to make sure that that happens every time. What I'll do is, given this persistent challenge in each of these product roadmaps, I'll go back to my core roadmap product that I've been building and give it that feedback so that I can prevent this from being a challenge in every single build that I've got to fix in every single build. So future deployments will be a little bit smoother, but I'm struggling with consistency there. So that's something maybe you guys have some ideas about that you can share with me, and we can work together to solve these problems. All right. I'm looking at the sprint queue right now, and I see 5 items that are in review. Sprint queue is prohibited from putting anything into itself that is in review or completed, so we're still not auto clearing this sprint whenever we finish these tasks. I need to clear the current sprint. Okay. assess the current sprint queue and see if any of those things are done. If they're done, clear the sprint queue. If they're not, leave them in there. I'll come back to this one later because I'm going to run out of time here, and I want to make sure that I get that game going a little bit further along here. But while I'm at it, so if you're joining me for the first time, visit studio.willmelton.com to learn about my 52 app build challenge this year and see what I've already built so far and get in on the action. You can become a referral partner. And if we sell one of these apps or take on investment from someone that you refer to us, we have a introductory fee that we will pay you. So go check that out on studio.willmelton.com. I'm not going to be able to manage all of these apps that I'm building, so I need people to take them off my hands. Okay, so we have a lot going on here now. We asked for more and it gave us more, but we've got some things that are overlapping, and I'm still not feeling the color. So let me just give a little bit more update. I still feel like we're lacking excitement and color. This doesn't really feel like a game yet. That's getting closer, but it is very text heavy. There's a lot of white backgrounds. We have overlapping text on some of these cards, and I don't know, do we need to create like a little character or something to make this more interesting? This is feeling a little bit better. It's still very text heavy. The gameplay is feeling a little bit better, but the hints are blue. They're off-brand entirely. I also feel like this seems more like a quiz than it does a game. What I struggle to understand now is, for instance, Pick the Right Brain is it's providing people with a question and they're supposed to pick the answer. So it's like a quiz, but it's not. There's no instruction. There's no teaching that goes on anywhere. There's no place where we get to observe a scene or listen to a challenge or a scenario, or I guess we do have scenarios here, but this is feeling like something's still missing on the education front, because I'm being tested for my knowledge that I don't yet have. I'm actually going to click the plan button here and let it think a little bit longer about how we can solve those challenges, and see what it says. I think we'll keep moving on this until we get to a happy place that this is actually something that people can use. But for now, what I'll do is publish this. We'll call this AI Arcade. And we'll add a custom domain. And that way, you guys will be able to play this game and provide some feedback. So while I am in the throes of making that happen, I will take a look at this plan and see what this says. Cool. This sounds fun. I'll go ahead and let that plan go. And let's see, what was I going to say? So that we can capture feedback from our audience, I want to go ahead and create a feedback submission functionality that's pretty simple. We do need to have the ability to turn on cloud so that we can store information in the database. But I do want to let the community influence how this tool works. And so what we'll do is we'll capture feedback from people who play this, and we will take that feedback and incorporate it into future work plans. I want to go ahead and create additional levels for the game too, so that people have a little bit more opportunity to immerse themselves and feel the game out and provide useful feedback. For those of you who are joining me live, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for your feedback on my audio issues. I want to make sure that these are valuable sessions for you all and that you're able to learn as much as you can. If there's anything that I can do to make these better, let me know. I'm happy to always looking to improve. It's our core principle at exponent21.com. So one of the things that I'll do here while we are letting some of this go is I'm going to actually give you guys a little bit of a preview of my book. So let me remember what the URL for this is. So Sound Rewrite is the name of this application, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause my music over here for a second, and I'm going to let you guys just listen to a little bit of a sample of my book in audiobook format. I actually was listening to this morning, and I was really happy with it. I think that authors who are struggling to finish their book, or hold on a second, let me slow down. Okay. Authors who are struggling to finish their book or who have maybe read their book too many times over might not care to read it again. So, audiobook format, here we go.
Part 1. The confidence to believe in yourself. Introduction. The journey from survival to significance. My brother, my sister, and I were all huddled together under several blankets on the couch, trying to keep warm. I must have been around 10 years old. We ran out of heating oil that night, and it wouldn't be until the next day at the earliest that we could get a refill. We hung blankets over the windows and doors to the living room to keep as much of our body heat in the room as possible. It wasn't the first time we ran out of heating oil, and it wouldn't be the last. We would always seem to be able to get the resources we needed to live relatively normal lives, but the constant scarcity emerging around every corner will never leave me. When I was growing up, my father was physically disabled and spent a good amount of time in the hospital. My mother worked as many as 3 jobs at a time to keep food on the table, and sometimes that still wasn't enough. Things were always running out: heating oil, gas, grace from our landlords. I lived in survival mode. The resources we needed always seemed to appear. But in survival mode, a lot gets missed. Family time was missed. There was no planning. There was no saving, And what I vividly remember is my thrift store wardrobe not working in service to my social efforts or my confidence. Despite what was missed, and much to their credit, my parents did ensure that my brother, sister, and I all received a good education and performed well in school. I also persevered in my own ways. To make a little money for myself, I raked leaves, mowed lawns, and did odd jobs for local businesses. For a time, I bagged pecans from the backyard of our rental property and sold them by the side of the road. In the summers of my preteen years, I worked for my aunt and uncle's tree trimming company in Florida, doing everything from hauling brush to invoicing and keeping the books. My father passed away when I was 12, and we moved in with family to get a firmer footing. Eventually, my mother remarried, and my life became more stable. But the stain of poverty had already set me on my path, and as soon as I could get a work permit, I took my first job. In my teens, I worked 10 different jobs, trying to find the best way to earn money. I started out pulling soft serve ice cream at Dairy Queen, and quickly realized that it wouldn't pay much more than minimum wage. I went to work at a grocery store for a year before taking on a smattering of jobs that included a local print company, the county parks and rec department, and a barbecue joint. I also worked at Busch Gardens as a ride operator and as a server at Golden Corral and later at TGI Fridays when I tried my hand at college. After a semester at college, I moved back home and took a job in timeshare telesales before landing a job at the computer repair shop that I would later become a co-owner of. Despite experience in jobs I knew I didn't want, what I still didn't have was a plan, any savings, much of a wardrobe, or a lot of the foundations and good habits that all people rely on to succeed. As a young entrepreneur and for many years to follow, every decision I made revolved around getting through the next 12 months. Keeping the lights on, landing the next client, and scraping together enough cash to meet payroll were my only priorities. And most of the time, I pulled it off. My businesses grew steadily, and sometimes significantly, year after year, but the wins often didn't feel secure. Growth often came at the expense of profits, and success felt fragile, one crisis away from it all falling apart. I had dreams for what my company would become, but I didn't have a plan to get there. When growth inevitably slowed or we hit a rough patch, the default response was to scramble, fix client issues, resolve performance gaps, wrestle with cash flow, and borrow money. The chaos felt relentless, and without a long-term vision to anchor us, every plan we made was short-sighted, focused on surviving for just one more year. I wasn't building a future, I was prolonging a cliffhanger. It wasn't until I hit a breaking point that I realized the problem wasn't external. It wasn't the market, my clients, my team, or the economy. The problem was me. Survival mode had wired my thinking, locking me into a cycle of short-term fixes for short-term goals. I wasn't just planning for 12 months at a time, I was unconsciously planning to last until December of whatever year we were in. That translates to less than 12 months of vision, 11 months out of the year. The shift from survival to vision. The change began the moment I dared to ask bigger questions. What kinds of businesses are successful? What do successful businesses do to thrive? What would it look like to build something that truly mattered? Not just for a year, but for a decade or more. What kind of legacy could I create if I stopped reacting to what was right in front of me and started planting seeds for a future worth chasing? Long-term vision gave me something I had never experienced before: freedom from the constraints of immediate survival. It redefined how I approached uncertainty. It did a lot to eliminate many of my uncertainties. I stopped demanding all the answers up front and started trusting the process of forward momentum. By suspending my ideas into the universe, I gave myself permission to step into the unknown and let the path reveal itself. As someone who struggles to maintain attention, sustaining focus.
All right, so I won't subject you guys to any more of that, but a little preview of my book that I'm working on called From Survival to Significance. That's a working title. We might change that still. But what this application does is it allows me to reorder things, sections, paragraphs, and I can see my manuscript. I can leave notes in here about things that I don't like. I can see notes from my coach. I can see my notes. And so this is all designed to be a place for me to finish my book, which I've been working on for a while, but I struggle to focus long enough. Or after having read, 30,000 words a few times, kind of not wanting to reread all that again. So the audiobook feature is a text to voice service from 11 Labs. It does have a little bit of cost associated with it, but we figured out the business model to be able to serve this up to folks. So this will be something that will get out there to people soon. I'm going to have to maybe recruit some staff to help me run some of these things, but we're going to have to turn them on as businesses that can be revenue generating before we can do that. So we will take some of the profits from other areas of our business to be able to make these things happen when I can see that there's a really clear um, pathway to success. This is one of those ones where I do think that this is one that we'll operate ourselves, and we'll play a little bit in the author industry and the book writing industry. Pretty big ecosystem there that obviously has been around for thousands of years. And I've actually survival to significance plan A only. This will be one of the same book. Then we have 50 microstrategies to succeed in AI SEO. And so where we've started with this is we actually have our pitch over here, and the pitch is going to help us get organized and focused on what it is that we're actually building. And then this pitch can also then be something that we publish inside of the marketplace, so that publishing houses can shop those manuscripts, they can shop those pitches, and potentially pick it up. So we're building something that works for authors, editors, coaches, publishers, everybody in that ecosystem. And I'll have a new book started in here soon because, like I said, I had that fiction book idea that I wanted to pursue. So I'll start to populate that and see how it helps me in actually getting the book done. Now, something else that I'm going to do is it's not done, it's not here yet. So I'm going to take a look at my inputs. I think one of the things that I want to be able to do is to dump audio files into this, and take the transcripts of those audio files and improve them. And so let me just go to my dashboard again and see. I don't think I have a way to add. Oh, I do have a way to upload voice memos. Okay. Um, there's an extra step in this that I'm going to need to do because my transcripts or my voice memos have a bunch of ums and ahs and just kind of casual language so that I can speak freely and get out of my head the ideas that I have. And so what I'm going to end up doing here is needing to transform that text so that it actually gets all the ums and ahs out, and it kind of stitches it together in a little bit better of narrative format as opposed to just the kind of spoken word that I have. I've been doing that in ChatGPT to be able to get to this place, but I'm going to have to bring that feature into this. So that'll be something that comes up next so that I can continue to add to this. I have also a bunch of stories that I've verbalized and converted that I need to import into this so that I can actually work those into the story. I suspect that I'm going to have still a hard time actually getting through this because, again, I need time to focus, and I've been building a lot as opposed to writing. But at least with the 50 microstrategies to succeed in AI SEO, I've actually built a separate tool to be able to capture those microstrategies from our strategy team so that we're getting all the information we need, all the criteria, all the details, so that we can assemble each one of those. Will be about 1,000 words. And so we will be doing more AI-driven production on this particular book because it's very business-oriented, and it's got a very clear format that we're going to roll with. So there's lots of different ways that you can use AI to speed up your workflows and build tools to make your life easier. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm going live with you guys 3 days a week to show you what I'm thinking about and building. And so I encourage you to follow along at studio.willmelton.com. You can become a referral partner. There's ways you can get paid for doing that. Check it out. You can follow us on LinkedIn Live, YouTube, and Twitch. Those are the 3 places that I go live. And you can also see our previous sessions. So you can go back and take a look at my older live vibe coding sessions, see some of the earlier instances of some of these builds that I'm working on now, and then these tie in with the different apps. So if there's an app that I've gone into detail on in one of these sessions, you'll actually see that down at the bottom. Must not have done that for this one yet, but or at least I didn't create the linkage. That's another thing that I need to do is go in here and indicate when something actually has a video so that this one works the way that it should. Maybe my video went away. Or maybe it works the other way around. Maybe if you're looking at one of these videos, it'll show you the app that it's tied to. I think we need to go both ways with that, though, so that's something that I'll improve here. But that's it for today, guys. I've been at it for a couple of hours here, and I need to go get some food, so I'm going to go do that. But I will publish this game so that you guys can leave your feedback. Looks like we have some additional challenges there, some additional levels. So you can leave feedback up here and tell us about it. But this is going to be published at arcade.aireadyrva.com. And yeah, I'll take a look at that feedback and we'll see if we can't use that to make this game better. If there's any game designers out there that want to put their expertise into it, that would be really cool. But we'll put this into the AI Ready RVA website as something that you guys can play with as well. We'll get it up on social so folks know that it exists. And yeah, we'll keep making stuff like this together. If you have an idea in the future, bring it to these sessions. Tell me what you've got. We'll make something for you. I'll transfer it to you when I'm done. I want people to feel empowered by all of this. So we're going to wrap up here in just a couple minutes. I want you to join me again tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Monday. This is my show and tell session. I'll dive into a product called Bank Wealth. I'm very interested in helping people get out of poverty. If you're listening to my audiobook clip, I've been able to do it for myself. It took a long time. Learned a lot. And I want to share that with other folks. And I've actually built a tool to help people think about how to take steps to advance your financial well-being and build generational wealth for your family. And I think this is going to be very cool when we get it out there. It's going to be a successful business. It's going to be a widely used tool. And it's going to help people get their lives into a better place. So I can't wait to share more about that. We could probably spend a whole session on this one. A lot of AI has gone into this, and it was built a little while ago. So there's probably some improvements that we might be able to make leveraging some of the latest technology that we've got out there. With that, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you all for joining me again for Vibe Coding Live with Will Melton. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to keep doing this as long as you guys keep showing up. So leave the comments, tell me what you want to see, and I will be coming back at you guys with more. Maybe we'll add some more dates in, more times into the schedule as we go forward. All right, that's a wrap. So you guys have a good rest of your weekend.
12 o'clock.